Now the next step is negotiations. Negotiations is really key. And how do how do you negotiate with influencers? And also, how do you know if you should even negotiate with them in the first place? Right. Let me share what we do here at Twillo. What we do at Twillo is we spend a lot of time in with the influencer audience reports, digging through that data. And we also have a platform, like I shared before, Upfluence, that gives us past analytics on their posts. So I know that if an influencer is coming with me with a certain type of price tag for one photo post or one video post, I know on average how many impressions I need to be seeing from that past post in order to determine if that rate is worth it or not. Now, I will share impressions and reach. I'll actually back up and share impressions and reach. Reach is the number of eyeballs that actually was able to view that post. Impressions is the number of eyeballs that was able to view that post, and then how they engaged with that post as well. So impressions is really a top key indicator of how well the post is doing. It's audience engagement and impressions. So that is the top two kind of metrics I look for to determine if the price is actually worth it or not. So I pay attention to how engaged is their audience and what type of impressions that they're able to receive. What type of impressions they're on average that they've received in the past. Now I want to, as we move on to the next slide, I just want to share this. A lot of companies have come to me in the past and they want to do product exchange. I think it's really important that I bring this up. There is nothing wrong with working with influencers where you just give them a product. There's also nothing wrong with working with influencers where you give them a percentage of your sales. This is something that I do think it is important to address, is that I like to say influencers have shiny object syndrome. Now, shiny object syndrome is where they might say yes to one opportunity, but then all of a sudden another opportunity comes their way and then they get distracted. And so what I've noticed in the past is that you can do percentage of sales. You can pay influencers based on percentage of sales. You can pay influencers based on product only. But those influencers, what happens is that it tends to not be their top priority, because when they're getting paid campaigns coming in from other different types of brands, that slips on their priority list, to the point that I've seen influencers completely flake on brands, and brands actually lose money because they're sending influencers the product, and influencers unfortunately do not get to the brand that collaboration in a timely manner, and then it ends up happening. Months and months go by without the brand actually receiving their content and being promoted. And so two things. That is why it is very important to have an agency to manage the influencers, so that you don't have to manage the influencers, to make sure they're promoting. And also, that is why I do encourage not to pay influencers based on a percentage of sales, but to also have some type of flat payment or base payment as well, to hold them accountable, and to help hold themselves accountable as well. So now to the right here is is our platform that also goes more into depth, really understanding the influencer's audience. This is cool because it shows you, like I was saying before, what's the average impressions that this influencer has received within the past few weeks. And I can see, with a click of a button, I can see this influencer John right here. He has 88% of his audience is real, and 45% of his audience is female, 55% of his audience is male. He's also got an average audience engagement of 6.43%. And as I can also see that each of his posts, his past two posts received about 37,000 total impressions. So now, why is this important? Well, I'll tell you what first off is important, is that, say that you're looking to hit certain markets in the US. Say that you want to hit all the markets within on the West Coast. you would not want to partner with this influencer because only 5% of his audience is within the Los Angeles area. You would want to make sure that majority of his audience is within on the West Coast. So maybe even a little bit higher percentage as well. Now, 88% being real is a little too low for me. I like to see at minimum 95% real. And so 88% means that he has some fake followers, and I wouldn't suggest working with an influencer that has anything lower than about 90% following of real. I will say 6.43% engagement is phenomenal for a following size of 74,000 followers. So he's got a very strong engagement. So that tells me if he's got a strong audience engagement, that means he does have, of his audience, they are very active, they're very engaged. So that is actually a very good sign right there, because you only want to partner with influencers that have very strong engaged audiences. I will also say too, based on his audience, he's got a following size of 74,000. To be able to get 37,000 total impressions per post is phenomenal, actually, for his type of following size. So, the reason that I'm going through all this with you guys is this is a few of the points that I really look for in determining, okay, is this influencer, is he going to be a strong partnership for my brand or not? Now, you've also got on the right as well, different types of past collaboration, brand collaborations that he's been a part of. So if you're a certain type of company and you want to make sure that the influencers have already promoted other types of brands that are similar to your own company, maybe not exactly a direct competitor, but very similar, then you can tell me, you can share that with me, and then I'll be able to then share with you the other types of brands that this influencer has partnered with. And how also as well, how effective it was at the same time. Perfect. Now, I wanted to include this. This is Twilio's cost case study. This is just to show you guys, the benefits of working with an agency, because in one of our past campaigns, we actually saved our clients anywhere from 25 to 30% on their entire campaign. And the reason for that was because we just really helped them negotiate down all the influencer rates, only work with the right type of partnerships. And based on only working with the right key partnerships and negotiating down, their rates, we actually saved the company a lot of money. And most of the time, companies will see an influencer. They're like, wow, this influencer looks like it could really align with our brand. So let's just go ahead and partner with the influencer, and we'll just pay them their price tag, even though we're really not sure about what type of results we're going to see. Companies end up spending a ton of money in that type of manner. So it's always very beneficial to work with an agency that can save you a ton of money by negotiating down the rates and choosing the correct partnerships. Now, I always say, quit spending too much money on paying influencers, especially most agencies out there. They actually pay influencers based on following size. Now, but I would say you should not pay an influencer based on following size, because only 10 to 20% of the entire audience will ever be able to actually view that promotional post. So that's why I say don't pay based on following size, a flat fee, but pay based on impressions. Like I shared before earlier in this presentation, impressions is definitely a key metric for determining how successful a promotional post is.